After you get your PhD in France, what is the typical track? Is it different than the United States, or perhaps the same? We're on location in France with Abdelmalik Ola. He is a PhD student in management in Granem at the University of Angers, originally from Togo. Welcome to the Language of Business.
Thank you, Greg.
How long have you been in France?
In France since 6 years. So I have started with my master's. So I'm now in PhD. I'm trying to finish my PhD, which will be defended in the next December.
And why did you come to France from Togo?
First of all, is for my PhD. So I have the opportunity to come and make something like a good PhD in this country, because it's not the same thing in my country. So it's also the opportunity for me to see other things in my life, and it was a life choice.
And what will you do after you graduate?
After my graduate, so for a PhD, after my PhD in France, I will try to get a professor post in France, and why not to stay here if all the conditions are met.
And what aspect of management are you studying?
So I'm more specialized in financing, entrepreneurial finance, especially in how when business angels come to identify investment opportunity in entrepreneurial ecosystem.
And how do you go about finding a job in France?
Finding a job is a good question. First, in the French system, you have, after a PhD, you have to a kind of how can I say it, concours.
Yeah. Okay.
So a concours which is done every year. So as like a PhD, I can submit my
an open house of sorts.
Yes.
Right.
So if everything is going very good, all right, I can have a post of professor at the next year in one of the university in France.
And do you care whether you're in a big city or small city?
Oh, it's a good question also. I have not have like aim to be in a good or small city. For me, the most important point will be to be in a good context when research can be made in a good research can be made. So I will give importance to research groups which have mean and money and the opportunity to give me the opportunity to be in contact with actors such as business angel and manager to do my research.
And when you do your research and publish it, what language do you publish it in?
In French and English. Now we are encouraged to publish in English, so the trend now is to make some English publications.
If you had to go through it all again, would you have opted to get your PhD in France or in another country?
Oof. Perhaps I will prefer to be in an English context, because it will be more easy to evolve in such a context. And today, for example, to make a kind of publication in English is very difficult when you have making your scholar process in French context. So if I can go back 3 years ago, I will prefer to be in English context. Yes.
And how often do you return to your family in Togo?
One time since I'm in France, so 3 years ago. So for my defense, perhaps they will come and see and share some time with me for my defense. Yes.
Would you ever want to become a French citizen?
Yes, it will be a good thing, because when I leave my country, I was 6 years ago. Not very open. Down here, I have learned how to have a good life here, and I would like to stay there for the rest of my
career?
Professional career, yes.
And if you had to rank the French economy right now on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being horrible and 10 being perfect, what rank would you give it?
7.
And do you think that will continue over the next 3 to 5 years?
For the next year, I think this economy will be more, will develop positively because things are changing.
Abdelmalik, thank you.
Thank you, Gregos.
Abdelmalik Ola, a PhD student in Grantham here in management in Angers, France.